All right. Oh, good. Let me go ahead and get the attendance. Oh yeah, there it is. All right. So, let's see. This week we just pretty much covered. Well, we only covered really just one lesson. But let me go ahead and just remind you, well, what that lesson was. So I have the video here. Darren, you don't need to worry because you were there. But for Tyler, because to get the lesson, you can watch the video that I posted right there in the chat right now. If you want to, I can send it to your email. But you can watch that video and go through the lesson at your own pace. Now, we had a meeting and we were supposed to be told like what day our schedules were supposed to be. So like last semester, if you remember, I think math classes were Monday, Wednesday. So we're supposed to have a new Zoom schedule so that we know what day certain classes are supposed to be Zooming. And right now, I don't know if they've actually come up with anything, if they've actually ever told us right off. Oh, excuse me. So they haven't told us what day we're supposed to be Zooming, and from what I understand, it's kind of like a bit of our own choice. So like we can choose whatever day to Zoom on, and I think they want us to do 3 Zooms a week. And I'm not sure how that exactly is going to work, but so far right now, if we can choose our day, I think I'm going to pick Monday, Tuesday, Thursday will be our main Zoom days. Well, actually, no, I think they said 2 lessons, like so 2 actual math lessons. And then Friday is kind of like, well, what we're doing right now, it's kind of like a tutoring day. Although I pretty much will Zoom most days, I think. I don't know. But maybe I'll put it to a vote. Which 2 days would you most rather Zoom? Would you rather have like Monday, Tuesday? I guess that's one option we could have. Just have both Zooms like right next to each other. Or we could have it Monday, Thursday. Or we could do kind of what I did with my previous semester, and that is we do so Monday and Wednesday, but on half-a-day weeks, which is every other week, we do Monday, Thursday. But I think it'd be easier to just say Monday, Thursday, or something like that.
Monday, Thursday.
All right, so I'm gonna stick with that. Maybe it's not really like right now. It might change because you know, my bosses might say, well, we changed our mind. We're gonna go with, you know, Monday, Tuesday, or Monday, Wednesday, or something like that. But Fridays, you know, I'd rather just have Fridays kind of more chill. So there's not going to be any lessons most Fridays. So with Fridays, I pretty much always set it up as tutoring day. But since you guys are here, I'm going to go ahead and show you a few things. I know I know I've had some students already ask about this, but I don't really remember how this works out. I'm trying to look for the paperwork because I know there's like one that works with it. But here I'm going to go to Schoology. So Schoology is this thing here. So it's kind of where I post everything. So if you ever need any information about the course, so for you guys, I think it is section 200, which is kind of weird. They should have made first hour 201. So there's this week's assignment. So if you want to look at what's going on this week, I also have the homework posted. So you can click on the little homework packet. And it opens up. Okay, it's got to load for a little bit, but oh, there we go. So week 1, that's the packet, and it goes by week. This one is due 1 the 25th, which 1 the 25th is going to be, well, if you got this on Monday, that would be 2 weeks, but right now it's about a week and a half to turn it in. but I try to get that enough time to where most people would be able to turn it in. So I think 2 weeks is a good enough time, because I know the mail sometimes gets slow, or sometimes you don't get to the post office right away. But I think most people would be able to get the packet within a week from when it's mailed out. And I think we mail our packets out on Wednesdays now, so it should get there pretty quickly. Make sure you don't separate the packets, and make sure you put your name on all the pages, because sometimes I will get students that are careful and they will not tear the packets apart. But when they turn them in and they're being sorted, sometimes they get picked up the wrong way, and then the staples fall out or they get pulled apart. And make sure you turn in the work with the cover. It makes it much easier for me to grade. Okay, so you don't need to make my duties harder on me. So just make sure you turn in everything. And I'm going to go over really quick. So there is only one lesson we went through this week, I should say. Well, we started on Tuesday, so we already kind of lost Monday, and I spent most of my week tracking down students, which actually I got almost all of them down except maybe like 3 or 5. But anyway, we had our first lesson on Wednesday, and that was real numbers, and that's the video link that I gave you. So with real numbers, we're just going over like what kinds of numbers there are, and some of the properties, like how numbers behave. And from there, we kind of stopped. So this first part, these 2 first pages of the assignment, those are what I call the in-class work. So the in-class work is what we cover together, and this is worth 10 points. Most assignments are going to be worth 10 points, by the way. And then there's a second part that I call the homework. So this is the homework, real numbers and properties. So again, you're still classifying numbers and putting them into like how they behave. So it says homework 1, so unit 1, homework 1, and this is the exact same type of lesson. It's just it's just the part that you do on your own. Okay, so if you do the in-class work, that's 10 free points right there. And throughout most weeks, you're gonna have somewhere from 50 to 70 points each week. And the homework is also worth 10 points. So if you just do the in-class work, that's 10 free points right there. Now let's look at the grading rubric, and I recommend you read this entirely because it's how stuff is graded. So sometimes I do get questions about how does the grading work, or, you know, I did this assignment, but why did I only get this score on there? So you don't need to get all of the questions right in order to get 10 points, the full 10 points. So basically you need to attempt all the problems. Make sure you show your work using most steps. Okay, I know some people can skip steps, but if you can show it with most steps, then you're good, you know. And you have about 80 to 83% or more correct. And this is going to be kind of hard because every assignment has a different number of questions. Some may have 20 questions, some may have 30 questions, or they may have an odd number of questions like 23 or something like that. And so you might end up with something close to that, but not exactly. So I'm not really strict on that rule. If you're just close to 83, then you will get the full 10 points. And so if you miss 1 or 2 problems on most homeworks, it's not going to affect your grade on that assignment. You could still get a 10. So I know some students last semester were really scared because they were like, I don't understand this one problem, and I don't want to turn it in because I don't want this one problem to get wrong. Then I'm going to get a 9 out of 10. So if you get 1 or 2 wrong, it's not going to be you're not going to lose any points. So if you're kind of stuck on one problem, it's easy. It's much better to just turn your work in rather than stressing out about that one problem. So, and then it kind of goes down from there. So a 9 has nearly all problems attempted. So again, I know there are some that are really tough to do and you're just like not really sure how to go about it. So maybe that would be like a 9. And again, you show most of your work, has about 75, and I should say about 70 to 75% of the problems correct. And no traces of cheating apps. So I know what cheating apps look like, so don't use them, because a person's brain works far different than a computer does. A computer's brain does not have to use the same steps that a person has to. And in most cases, apps like Photomath, they don't show you the steps that you're supposed to take. They're showing you the steps so that you will learn how it's done, if that makes sense. They want you to learn how to do it, so don't just copy it. All right, so I know, and I'm pretty good at sniffing this out. All right, so, and then you go down from there, so it's an 8. Make sure you do the work the way it was shown. You know, and again, if you use a different app, it's gonna make it obvious. All right, so let's see, a 7 does not show any work or steps. So if you just put the answer on there, or you have, again, if I catch you using Photomath on an assignment, that's gonna be a -3. So even if you got all of them right, you're still gonna get a 7. But if you don't get them all right, then it's gonna be -3 to whatever score is on there. And it skips one of the numbers, it skips 6, so it goes to 5. The work is messy and shows little effort, or there are less than 30% correct. And again, that's just kind of a guideline, however close it is. But if it looks like you just threw the work together just to turn it in, or to get your parents to stop telling you to turn it in, you know, that's going to be a 5. So that's about half of the, you know, you get half the points, even though you didn't get half the questions right. And then from there, you got to really, you know, mess up pretty badly to get from a 5 to a 1. So there's no 2, 3, 4 points. There is only 1 to 5, and that's pretty much it. So work is blank, or very few problems are attempted, and you can't really get a 0, okay? Because the homework is tied to your attendance. So if you don't check in, or you don't make it to a Zoom, and if you turn the homework in for that day, that will count as your attendance. And I'm gonna go back and undo your absence. All right, but again, if you at least have a 1, then it's gonna cover your absence. All right, so let's see. Here are 2 other things. So again, those are kind of what I mentioned with this first assignment, which we only have 1 assignment this week. Well, actually 2 of them, because one of them is the in class and the other is gonna be the homework. So that counts as your attendance for Tuesday and Wednesday. And Thursday will be the syllabus, and Friday will be the extra credit. So those are the only 4 things you need to do this week. And I'll say that again at the end. So first part of the lesson is the in-class work, which is 10 points, because I did have a lot of, even though this paper was written in the packets that I send out, I still had a lot of students asking me, do we need to do the in-class work? And the answer is yes. All right, it's free points. You know, you wouldn't want to miss this out, because it's like you're just given a free assignment. Why would you not do it? So you got to make sure that you turn that in, okay? And again, we go over it in class, so that's free points right there. That means you don't need to work for those points. You just get them as long as you follow along. And then there is the homework. That's the second part. That one's also 10 points, and make sure you work on your own. So use what you learned in the in-class work to do the same thing with the homework. Now, I did say, if you use, in the old rules, if I caught you using Photomath, you always just got a 0. But in this case here, I know sometimes it's just, some people just have no choice. They just have to, it's like, I don't know what to do. I watch the videos and lessons, but I just don't understand. But it's only this assignment, so it's only once or twice. So this time I'm gonna kind of allow it, but again, there is gonna be a penalty for homework. But if you are using Photomath on a test, a quiz, or an exam, so something that you would normally, like if you were in class, that's the way I would normally do a quiz is I'd usually wait for like the last 20 to 30 minutes of class, tell everyone clear off their desk, put their phones away, make sure you complete the test before the bell rings, or the quiz or whatever that we're working on. So things like final exams, The unit quizzes, which there's usually going to be about 2 of them for each unit, which comes out to about about twice a month, maybe 3 or 4 times a month. But it really just depends on how fast we're going through the lessons. But anyway, quizzes are usually one of those things that I'm going to urge you to do yourself. So make sure that if you use any photo math or anything like that, because I know there's multiple ones, then it's going to be a 0. Yeah, there you go. Will result in a 0. Answers must also be written in the way that we did it. Okay, so I mean, I can tell just by the way it's written that you didn't do the work. And make sure you answer the question. All right, that's another way that I can tell you're not working these problems out yourself. So an example might be something like, take this formula, and you might have something like, let's say, a linear function, because that was covered in Algebra 1. So like y equals 5x plus 1. What is the x-intercept? You know, photomath is going to solve x for you just because that's what it does, but it's not going to find the x-intercept for you. Or if it tells you to graph that same thing, so if it says make sure you solve and then graph it, you got to have both answers in it. And you know, photomath usually doesn't tell you how to graph things, so that's another way I can tell you're using it, because you answer the wrong question or you don't answer the question fully. So make sure you read all the problems, the questions for the problems, and you answer those questions. Now, you'll also notice that on the cover page, it usually tells you when it's due. So this is one from last semester, and you can see right below where it says the week number, it will tell you what day it is due. So I don't really want to get all of the assignments on the last week of school, so make sure you keep up with your assignments. If it's after that date, it's going to be all the homework in there is going to be, or well, I should say all the assignments in there that is both in class and homeworks are going to be rounded down 2 points. And it's going to go down from there. So after 1 week after that, and in fact, actually, I included that in the week 2 packet. I said, you know, these are the dates. This is the time you can turn it in for full points. This is the time you can turn it into turn it in with a penalty, and when you can turn it in for much lower points than that. So the penalties go up as you go down. Now, for your attendance, make sure you check in by email. Make sure you include your real name, all right? Even if it's in your email, so even if you say, you know, joebgay@gmail.com, okay, I could probably figure out who that is, but it's just kind of nice to put your real name. So, you know, you could say something like, I am, you know, Joe Schmo, and I'm in first period. And that's pretty much all you need, really. Make sure you use a new email for each message. Don't reply. And part of this is the email that I use, or I shouldn't say I use, the school uses it. The email that the school uses sometimes gets wonky. And if there's a chain, like if you reply, you know, you can read the conversation of what's going on. But the problem is sometimes that when I look for it, it gets lost. It puts it in a folder that I usually can't find, or, you know, I didn't put it there because it's grouped with other conversations. So basically what can happen is I lose the email. So I might mark you absent, and, you know, a week later, you might say, wait a minute, I looked at my absence and I was there that day. I checked in, and then I'm going to look for the email and I'm not going to find it because it got put somewhere else because it was replied. So don't reply, always send a new email. So in the morning or whenever you get to your classes to check in, you know, write a new email, put me in the contacts so that you can easily find my name or whatever and send me an email. You could probably even like cut and paste a message every morning or something for all your classes too. But that's probably the easiest way is to check in using email. Phone is kind of hard because, you know, if I'm in the middle of a class and the phone rings, I can't really pick it up sometimes. So again, email is probably the best way to do this. or if you come to the Zooms, then I'm gonna have to mark you here for the Zoom. And again, email is used for your attendance, attending the Zoom, or completing the in-class assignment. So there are 3 ways that you can mark yourself as here for the attendance. And the classwork is also in the YouTube videos too. So this one here is also going to be posted to YouTube. So make sure you go down there and click that like, share, and subscribe button. So that way you can get all of my latest videos as they come out. I've always wanted to say that. And this last part's not for you guys because you're obviously here in the Zoom. So you know where to go and you already know my email probably. But this one's mainly for students that don't have email and they need to, check in with me somehow to at least get the updates, once a week or whenever they get email. Now for this assignment here, if you got the packet, the one that says order of operations, we're not going to do that, okay? And if you got your week 2 packet, maybe you picked it up early, you'll notice that you might say, wait a minute, this looks a lot like the week 1 packet. And I know, okay? And this is going to happen throughout the semester. If we don't cover something, usually I make the packets a little bit longer than they need to be. But you can work on them ahead of time. So if you have, if you know some of these lessons, like this is order of operations, this is kind of like, well, you would call it PEMDAS is probably the way you would remember it. Now, if you feel like you're really, really good at it and you want to get ahead in the class, you can turn this in and it will count as your Monday's attendance for next week. So that way, when you do get the week 2 packet, you can skip this assignment. So the assignments are not going to overlap, meaning that every assignment will count for attendance for at least some days or at least one day. So this one is not for this week. Again, just the 4 lessons that you need to get for this week is real numbers in classwork, real numbers or unit 1, homework 1, real numbers and properties. Thursday is going to be the syllabus. So make sure you sign that out, fill it with your parents, have them put in some contact information. And that's what you would need to do for that one. And Friday, I'm going to use the extra credit, which I don't usually do, but just because we don't have enough lessons to fill out this week, that's your attendance for those days. But well, if you're here at the Zooms or the emails, then you don't need to worry so much about your attendance. Ooh, I could have gone down here. So right here, you can stop or you can keep going. So all of this you don't need to work on. Just because I'm a little bit behind schedule, I haven't been able to find all of my students, but next week we are going to start. Oh, what the heck? It should have ended right here. Did this packet come with this? Okay, this is not a lesson we're going to do until like near the end of the semester. Okay, and I don't think that was included with the packets. When I scanned this, I probably accidentally picked up an extra worksheet. But anyway, this is the last of the syllabus. This is the very last page. So I guess I'm just going to cover up these 2 things here, and then we'll be done with what we need for how we're going to do the lessons. So I'm going to have a little bit of an extra credit assignment each week because I know that some students are going to be worried about losing points. In a normal class, when we're in class all there, I can help you, but sometimes it's a little bit harder when we're online, when we're doing the remote learning that we're doing like right now online. But that's why we have our Friday tutoring, which is today. And I'm just going over this to, recap a lot of things we did over the week. But you do have an extra credit assignment. It is also worth about 10 points. And at this point, I don't have any cap on extra credit assignments. So you could pretty much do all of them. And you could even complete the course with a 110%, I think my highest score last semester was a 110%. So there are so many extra credit assignments that you can go beyond an A. But if you get a few questions wrong on your homework or the in-class work, or you're missing one, you can make up those points here with the extra credit assignment. So they usually, and I don't want to make more math Okay, so if you're having trouble with math, more math is not going to help. So just do a short writing assignment. So in this case, it's just 10 points. What did you do for the winter break? And with the extra credits, I'm kind of hoping you write something that's a little bit fun to read. And that's good, you know. I mean, I know not everybody did something super fun, but for something like this, think about something that would be fun to read. Don't just say, I chilled at my homie's house. I ate Captain Crunch. I saw a cat. All right, fine. If you're gonna say you play video games, you know, tell me a little bit about the video game. If you're gonna say, I don't know, you know, just be a little bit more specific. At this point, there's no real sentence requirement. There's no length requirement or anything like that. But I'm gonna ask that you answer most of the questions, and it's not gonna be graded to like the same as a English assignment. So grammar, if it's a little bit off, you know, I'm not gonna mark any points down, and it's gonna be pretty easy to get a 10 on those, as long as you answer most of the questions that are in the prompt. And here's the Algebra 2 syllabus. So this is how it's gonna be graded, and the things we are gonna be covering. And we may not cover all of this just because of how the semester is going to be going. I think with I'm going to try to get up to here, maybe. Actually, with my last class, I got up to here, but it really just depends on how the semester goes and the pacing and what I feel like you guys can keep up with. And then how the course is going to be put together. You know, what you need, you'll need a computer, calculator, hopefully a notebook, but although I kind of supply the in-class work as your notes. And how the grade breakdown is, usually I have the tests and quizzes are a little bit of a higher portion of your grade, but that's kind of hard because, you know, I can't tell too much about how the work is done. So it's going to be kind of an even split. And then again, there's my email address. Make sure you put your name, your signature of your parent, and some way I can contact, and put your own email. Man, I should have done that. I really, really, really should have done that. I should have asked everybody your email. Ooh. Well, I could still do it on one of the other packets, but anyway, that is pretty much it for this week of how we do the assignments. And my YouTube channel is here, so I'm not sure what you can see from here, but there's my lesson from a day ago. You can watch the videos on my YouTube channel, and I kind of make a video at least one from every day. So if you can do that, it'll basically be the exact same lesson that we cover in the Zoom, but I know that not every student is able to get to a computer for the Zooms. Or another problem that happened last semester was because the packets are mailed out, sometimes the packets got held up in the mail, so they weren't able to get them until almost, you know, halfway through the week or almost all the way through the week. So they wanted to go to the Zooms, but they couldn't follow along because they didn't have the packets. So to kind of fix that problem, the YouTube channel is where you can find my videos. Now there's a little bit of a problem, and that is if you're using one of the school's devices, like the iPad, you may not be able to get onto YouTube. Now I'm not sure if we're going to fix this problem in the future. No, I'm not the tech department. I don't run the computers or any of the software stuff. But hopefully that will get solved in the future. If you cannot get to the YouTube videos and you still want to watch the videos, you can go to Schoology, which is actually where I was and where the homework assignment was. So we already went through the homework assignment. And one of the other things you can do is watch the video here. So all my videos will be posted on the Schoology as well. You can make this full screen here. And there's all right. Good morning, wonderful people. All right, go ahead and move over to what we're doing today. Yeah, and it's going to be pretty much the exact same thing lesson wise. So that's the lesson that we already covered, and I'm going through the assignments. And it's there too. So if you can't get on YouTube, you can also watch this on Schoology. So make sure you have your login. I know some students were having trouble with their logins. I'm trying to work on it. Okay, we're really swamped because this is the first week of school. We have a lot of students changing schedules, getting new iPads, getting MiFi devices, and everything's just really crazy this first week. So if I can't get it out to you right now, you know, it's just because everybody's backed up. Even the teachers are having problems with some of their computers. And one other thing with here is we also, well, two more other things. Let me go ahead and cover those. So we have the course information, the course syllabus, and I'm going to go ahead and reassign this. I haven't reassigned it because this is from last semester. It's from August, but I'm going to change up the date so that way you can do it. And this is going to be the pre-test. We'll probably try to work on that next week or starting next week, and I'll give you a week to finish it. But that's going to be the test that we usually have at the beginning of the year, just to see what you know. So it's not going to be graded, or I'm sorry, it is going to be graded, but it's not going to be scored. And I think it's about 30 questions. So it doesn't matter how many you get right, you're going to get points just for completing it. All right, but I would ask you to do your best because, you know, it gives me a really good idea of how much you know, what you learned. And we're going to retake this near the end of the year so that I can see how much improvement there was. But don't be stressed about it. Okay, it's not like an actual test. And then I also have week 2's packet here. So it's still week 1. You will get these ahead of time. So again, I did mention that week 2 packets are going to be, hopefully you should get them by Monday next week. Now again, this one also has a due date. It tells you that there's a late penalty after that due date and will not be accepted after January 8th. Make sure you turn in your work with the cover because that cover is how the office will sort out the messages. That's how they sort out the email. The greeting rubric is still there. And again, it's going to be the same assignment from the first packet. But again, that's going to happen quite a bit if we don't cover certain lessons. This one will also have the extra credit, but for this one, we're going to have 2 assignments. So the in-class work will be for Monday, the homework will be for Tuesday, and then Wednesday will be the other in-class assignment and the other homework. So that's going to be your attendance for those 4 days. And 5 is usually going to be something else like the extra credit or maybe another assignment because sometimes there are 2 homeworks for each lesson. So anyway, here's another extra credit writing thing. You know, think about some of the things that you did last semester that helped out. You know, what are some things that the teachers did that made it easy for you? And this one's a bit of a shorter packet, but you do get the packets here because last semester I did get a lot of students and parents asking for packets because they either lost them or they didn't get them. You know, the mail might lose it. So they were asking me, can you email this to me? And I said, you know, they're posted on Schoology. Everything I do is posted on Schoology. You know, that's like the one place to go for all of your needs. And it just makes it a lot easier, you know, when you have all these things in one place that you can just go there and get everything you need. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much most of the information you're going to need for this upcoming semester. So that's it. Pretty much those are your resources. You have Schoology, YouTube, and right now we also have the tutoring, which would also be the Zoom lesson. So those are the things you have. So please don't ever feel like you don't have any help because there is help. Okay, you just got to reach out and pretty much ask for it. You know, you got to get it. So I'm going to go ahead and start the tutoring. So if you have any questions about completing the homework, so maybe, well, what I'm hoping you're doing is that you do as much of the homework as you can, do as much of the in-class work as you can. And if there are like a few questions that you cannot figure out, you know, Friday is probably the best day to turn it in. On Friday, you know, again, you might be missing a few questions. Now is the time that you would take and answer those questions, and we'll cover anything really. You know, the tutoring is your day, so bring your questions and we'll go over them. And that's pretty much going to be it for today. Thank you for stopping by. And Godspeed.